don't want to just talk about witches. I don't want to talk about medicine women. I don't want to talk about dark goddess. I don't want to talk. I want this to be extremely experiential and embodied. I want you to feel it. I want it to, this is going to sound wild, but we're working with the wild woman archetype, right? We're working in this territory. I want it to rip you open. Like rip you open to more of your authentic essence, more of your authentic power. Like I want this particular podcast, this episode, whether you're here live in Live Circle or you're watching later on YouTube, I want it to rip you apart. So in this moment, no matter where you're listening or when you're listening to this, what do you need to do to put yourself in a space to be ripped open by the dark goddess? By her fierce love. It's love. It's grace. It's grace. It is lightning bolt enlightenment energy. It is this energy of wake up to yourself. There is so much more to you. And I will deliver whatever it takes uniquely for you to wake you up out of your numbed out way of going through the world, out of the way that you lie to yourself, out of the way that you play small, out of the way that you've just repeated your mom's patterns, your dad's patterns, your ancestral lineage, out of the way that you play victim to life, out of fate, like, oh, it's so fated, this just is happening to me. It's life is happening to me, into destiny, into I am co-creating this. I have that much connection, that much juice, that much power, and that much potency that I am co-creating my reality. I am co-creating every fucking thing in my life. That's this territory. That's what she gifts us. And so my question, let's go back to that. You might be like, I don't even know what the fuck the question was, Sabrina. Jesus Christ, that was like a ball of fire in my face. But the question is, what do you need to do in this moment to receive her gifts, her boons, her Shakti, her love, her fierce grace? What do you need to do? Do you need to switch off distractions? Do you need to come back and watch this later because you're like, holy shit, I'm driving the car. I might drive into a ditch if I really go for this, right? Just whatever it is that you need to do, just do it. Do it. Know that this will be a podcast. It's on YouTube. You can come back and listen to it later. For those of you who are here live, we'll leave the replay up in the Facebook group for at least 48 hours afterwards. So invitation here is to come back to the parts. I have a sense that there is going to be a lot coming through. A lot. Like the amount of fire and juice and roar and passion and love and fierce grace, goddess yumminess that I am feeling makes me, I don't know, kind of anticipate that this is going to be full. This is going to be full. Okay, so that said, a few things about dark goddess, medicine woman territory for those of you who this is maybe new to. This is not dark magic. The space that I hold, how I work with dark goddess, how I work with medicine woman, how I work with witch energy. By the way, this is not just specific to women, right? This is across like all genders. So I want to put that out there too. I know that there are men in our space who are holding this space, who are diving into their own witch, who are diving into their own dark goddess, or who are just coming into right relationship with this aspect of the feminine. So feel into that. Like, this is the second thing to feel into. First was, what do you need to do to be ripped apart? It's always a good question to ask yourself. Second is, when I'm feeling into my relationship to dark goddess territory, to witch, to medicine woman, these are the more hidden, oftentimes the more potent and powerful aspects of the feminine. Let's fucking face it. There is a lot of juice in the dark. There is a lot of juice. There is more juice. Many studies will say, many of the greatest psychologists will say, there is much more power in your unconscious than your conscious. The unconscious territory is dark goddess, witch, medicine woman territory. That's where she takes you. She takes you into the juice, like into the most powerful, potent parts of ourselves. That's where she takes you. But depending on where we're at in our journey, we oftentimes fight like hell to stay out of there. We fight like hell to stay out of there, right? All right, I don't want to dive into that. I will. So this is question number 2, reflecting on this. My relationship to witch, medicine woman, dark goddess. In this moment, and this might change many times throughout our little exploration today, in this moment, am I most called to witness and to come into right relationship with her? Am I most called to feel her in me? Am I most called to feel her in me, to embody my own inner witch, my own inner Shakti? Am I just whatever is in this moment, and trust that that can change. That can change many, 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 many times over this conversation, and maybe in dreams tonight, maybe going forward. You might be reflecting on this later or coming back to watch certain parts, but it's a question to really ask ourselves too as we start to dive into this territory is, what's true? So this is one of the greatest gifts that this territory gives us, that she gives us, that dark goddess gives us. By the way, witch and medicine woman sit in dark goddess territory. So if I start saying dark goddess, just know that's inclusive to witch and medicine woman for this particular conversation. So part of what she gifts us is our capacity to know our truth. So I'm asking you right now, what is your truth about how you're being kind of called to relate to her in this moment? Am I being called to like awaken the witch within? Or am I being called to witness the witch? Am I being called to get into let's call the witness aspect of ourselves our masculine? Just for this, right? Just for this conversation, the witness aspect of myself, let's call it my masculine. Is my masculine being asked to get into right relationship with her? Because a lot of times our own masculine, this is not specific to gender, our own masculine has a very serious fear. And you can see it in society. You can see it in all the old boys clubs. Shit scared of the medicine woman. Shit scared of that sheer power that sits in the dark goddess. Shit scared, right? She is destructive force. She is life-giving force. She is fucking mysteries. She is shadow territory. She is unconscious territory. She is extremely powerful and extremely potent. So just feel, right? So just feel. If there is this, I am really struggling, Sabrina. I am really struggling with this. Just know that that is so okay. There is no judgment, right? So there's no judgment. There's just what is true. So now I want to shift this over into this place of such compassion for ourselves, such acceptance. This is another gift of the dark goddess, right? I said gift number 1, I said was truth. Like she brings you to your truth. Gift number 2 is this compassion and just this, that like love for all of it. Love for all of it. Love for your dark, love for your witchy, love for your wounds, love for your fears, love for the weird way you treat your mom, right? Love for the weird way you puke your shit on someone else. She has love for, she doesn't condone it. She doesn't want you to do more of it, but she loves it, right? She loves it. And what happens when we can embody that aspect of her boon, of her gifts, of her Shakti, when we can open up to that outside of ourselves. She shows up either inside, outside. We just talked about witness, or maybe she's arising from within you. So just trust your experience of it. But when we can hold that, we no longer hide the shit in the basement, right? We no longer hide the wounds or the weird mental patterns or the ways that we puke things out onto people or whatever it is. But and again, there's no judgment. We're human. We're human. We drink collective energy that is rat shit. I should say rat poison, right? Like we're human. We have ancestral lines, right? That's connected into like weird things. We have karmic backpacks. Like we've come in with like weird fears. Like I was so shit scared to do what I do now in the world. I thought I would die. I thought y'all would kill me if I ever spoke like this, right? I had years of shit to work through around that. But what she does is she takes it out of the unconscious. Remember, we've talked about this, the unconscious, how much juice, how much power sits in the unconscious, more so than in the conscious. The conscious is like, safe, I'm a good girl. So if we talk about this in feminine reclamation terms, right? Think of the feminine aspects that are acceptable, right? Good girl, nice girl, sweet girl, pretty girl, mom, lover. What about the witch? Right? What about that? Same thing, you can feel it into the masculine, right? So if you're like really strongly identified with masculine, or just this moment you want to feel into that, you can feel into that. Like, what are the acceptable aspects of the masculine? What are the acceptable gentlemen, right? Father, provider. What about like wild, creative Don Juan artist? What about that one? I mean, maybe we all fall in love with that one, but is it totally acceptable? I don't know, I'm throwing random stuff out at you. Pluto, Hades, Chiron, shaman, right? Think about all of those. It's the same, it's the same. So, what Dark Goddess does is let me feel for a second, I want to get these words right. She goes, you are so much more. There's so much more power to you. There is so much potency to you. There's so much more juice and magic and gifts. You are barely alive. It's literally what she says. You are barely alive, as in you're barely awake. You're barely conscious. You're barely aware of how much of a creative force you are in the world. I want to bring this into like tangible, real world aspects. And here's like question number 3 to reflect on. This is a bit in your face. It's a bit in your face. But we are constantly creating. We are sometimes creating from a conscious place that we're aware of. So we're conscious of it. We're aware of it. We can like mentally cognize it. We are sometimes creating from an unconscious place. So we are creating events, relationships, things in our lives from a place that our mind is not aware of. Okay, you ready? I think we all can agree to that. Okay, let me just feel. I'm always like feeling for the right doorway and through the psyche, right? We're like dealing with conscious and unconscious and psyche and the collective and so it's always like, where's the sneaky little back door to this? So what if she wanted to make all of the unconscious conscious? I mean, that would, one, blow your brains, right? That's oftentimes what people consider like spiritual meltdown, right? Or there's another term for it. I don't even know. I don't even know. I'm so far removed from that stuff. But what if, and this is also based on research, and this is also like well-known fact in like psychological arenas and spiritual arenas, you are creating everything in your life. That sucks. You and the collective forces are creating, and especially when we're adults, right? Especially, and if you're here listening, pretty confident you're an adult, right? Pretty confident if not, you probably should be listening to this. But what if you are creating, what if you took back all of your power? Because it's legitimately what the Dark Goddess is asking. You took back, you stood in all of your power. I mean, it would kind of be like sitting on a fire hydrant, right? You'd be like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with this much power, right? I don't even know. But if you really took back, like stood in all of your power. And part of this standing in all of your power is I am creating I have that much power that I'm creating this and this and this and this. I'm calling this into my life. I'm calling this into my life. I don't know that I'm calling it into my life, right? Maybe it's some like deep, weird womb pattern or some like weird broken heart pattern that's calling it into my life. And I'm not aware of it, but I'm calling it in. I'm calling it in. So what if that had more power than our mental stuff around affirmations, vision boards, goal setting, all of that shit, which I think is beautiful, but I think it's only half of the story. I think we're missing the other half. So when the affirmation doesn't work, you didn't lose the weight that you're wanting to, you didn't bring in the big old house that you wanted to manifest, or the relationship that's beautiful didn't come, it's because the subconscious is running the show. And it has more juice and more power and more potency than little brain like, I think I want this. When your heart is like, I cannot handle a really healthy relationship because it'll freak me the fuck out. I cannot handle becoming a witch because I will have to face my family and own the fact that I'm a witch. I can't handle whatever it is, this gift of mine that is just innately mine, it's wired in me, but I can't switch this on because people will think I'm weird, right? People will think I'm weird. I will be kicked out of my friend circles. I will be kicked out of my family. I might lose my lover if I really tell them what I'm doing on the weekend. I'm not actually at a yoga retreat. I'm rewilding with Sabrina in the mountains. It's pretty fucked up. It's pretty fucked up. Like all the shit you read about in books, that shit's real. Like that weird spiritual shit, it's real, right? Okay, so let's take a moment to just like breathe and come back into our bodies, come back into our hearts, and to just like wrap ourselves with some love, right? Wrap ourselves with some love. Feel into what you need in this moment. Maybe you need a drink of water. Maybe you need to leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, maybe you just need to like take them in and just be like, what the fuck? Or, this sucks, Sabrina. I thought we were going to talk about like rituals and tarot and medicine woman. I want to talk about the gifts. Like, where's the witchy gifts? Okay, I'm going to talk about that right now. By the way, I want to just, I know I'm like poking fun, and I want to say I've been there. Like, I was a baby witch at one point, and I was like, cool, it's a full moon. Like, yay, let's get together with my girlfriends and cast spells, and nothing would fucking happen because it wasn't turned on, right? I wasn't in alignment yet. That's the next piece I want to talk about. So please know that I am poking fun, and I'm like shining a light into some of the places that we do not like the light shined on us. But I will promise you, it is like one of the greatest gifts when that light got shown on me. It was just my little ego, like, but I'm so magical, I'm so special, right? And then I was like, folks, you have no idea what this requires. You need to own your dark. You need to be in alignment. And so this is what I want to talk about. All right. And I want to do it with love, right? Like wherever we're at on our path and wherever we're at on our journey, whether we're like elder witch and you're here and you're like, speak it, sister, you know, like, let's show the baby witches. Or you're a baby witch and you're like, fuck, like, I didn't really know that this was involved in order to be powerful and to cast a spell. I just thought I could like read a book and put some like magical drops in a bowl and light a candle and, you know, like poof, I turned the frog into the prince. Doesn't matter where you're at. Your journey is so incredibly perfect for you. It is so perfect and exactly where you're at. Just loving it. Love it. Love it, and be fucking grateful that we're able to do something like this, that we're able to get together like this on a public live or a podcast or YouTube, wherever you're listening to this. Just be grateful. Like, shit, I get to know that there's more out there. And I don't have to fly halfway around the world and sit in a cave for 80 days just to get the initiation from the elder witches, right? Just be grateful. Like, let's be grateful, even if it's a little bit painful and we're like, ooh, my ego is hurting. That's good. That's good. This is good. So let's now be honest. So I think this is question number 4, reflective question number 4. Be fucking honest. I want you to be so honest. So honest. Don't lie to yourself. And if you don't want to leave a comment about this number, that's okay, but don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, how powerful do you think you are? How powerful of a manifestor, spellcaster, witch, sorcerer, wizard, shaman do you think you are? Priestess, whatever word we want to use. How powerful do you think you are? I kind of dare y'all to leave a comment. After that, like, blasting, I kind of dare y'all to leave a comment. Scale of 1 to 10. How powerful do you think you are? Debbie's a 7. And you don't have to share. Susan is a 5. I kind of want to go with the 2, personally. I kind of want to go with the 2. Maybe when I was a baby, which I was like a -50 on my own like weird scale. Stephanie a 1, Valentina a 7, Teddy a 0, Michelle deep in the shadow 8, Las Mas 10. I don't know any spiritual master who's really that would ever fucking say a 10. Just gonna be honest. That might mean that you switch off and you never fucking watch another video ever, and that's totally cool. But honestly, I'm not saying I'm not even putting myself in that category, but these fucking powerful beings are very humble. Very fucking humble. If there's one thing that all of these powerful beings are, it is very, very, very humble. Very humble. We do not know. There is I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. For me, the longer I walk this path, the less I know. Seriously. The more that I am stripped of what I think I know or what I think human potential is. I don't know. I don't know. Sure. I think some cool things have come online for me. I think I get to see what I would have considered huge miracles 10 years ago. I get to see them on a regular basis, right? I think, but I have no idea what else is possible. I have no idea. I have no idea how much more there is. No idea. Those of you who are saying 10, get the fuck off the podcast. I'm just kidding. I'm loving you. I'm loving you. I'm loving you. I'm loving 10s. I'm loving 0s. I'm loving 8s. I'm loving 1s. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest. We don't know. We don't know. We're human. We do not, as enlightened as we get, we are still in human bodies. We are still in the current collective that we are in. We are. If you're here watching this video, you are still plugged into the collective, and you are still in a human body. All right, so here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about moving that number from for me, what was it, a -50 to now I'm a 2. But moving that number up the line. And let me feel into, there are words I wrote down. Here we go. Let me see if there's something that jumps out. Okay, these were the words I loved. Let's feel into different parts of ourselves. So this will be our next embodiment practice for this. I'm crooked here. Let's feel into different parts of ourselves, and let's feel into our mind for a moment, my mind. And just feeling into some people call it the mental body, the mind, the mental body, the mental realm, my thoughts. And you just feel into those for a minute. And then let's feel into the emotional body. The emotional body. So my emotions, just feel into that aspect of self. We're just going through different layers of self or different aspects of self. So just now feel into emotions. Like, here's my emotional body. I'm with my emotional body in this moment. Now let's feel into our spiritual body, let's go energetic body. Sometimes spiritual, there's like many, many layers to that and we get all goofed up. So this will be our third one, is our energetic body. So just now feeling into your energetic body, whatever that means for you. It might be your aura, it might be your chakras, it might be your central channel, it might be something different for you. Just your energetic body, and just feel into that. Just feel into that. Okay. So that's 3 of, let's say, 1 million different aspects of self. Just 3. We just felt into 3. I said spiritual, and there's like 30 layers to that. I could say your heart. I could say your belly. I could say your root chakra. I could say your high heart. I could say your seat of the soul. I could say many. We could go bones. We could go blood. For some of us, those tangible ones are really helpful, especially if you're really connected to medicine man, medicine woman, right? You're like, yes, get me in the physical. But like our bones, and just do a moment of this, because I think this is a fun one too. Feel into your bones, and then feel into your blood. Like, just feel into your blood. Like bones versus blood, and then like, let's just leave it at those 2. Now, when we're coming into becoming more powerful beings, more aligned. Remember, I used that word aligned kind of at the break. I used the word aligned. Individuals who wield vast power. And if we're talking about shamans, think about some of the different things you've heard about shamans, right? Like the vast power that shamans can wield. Maybe priestesses. Maybe think about some of the vast power priestesses wield. Think about witches. If you feel like witches, there's vast power that witches can wield. Sorcerers, wizards, like this vast power that they wield. The more undivided we are in all parts of our being, the more powerful we are. So let me bring this back, or say it another way. When my mental realm is not in conflict with my emotional realm, and those 2 are also not in conflict with my energetic realm, I'm that much more powerful, right? Think about it. When my bones are lining up with my blood, which is lining up with my heart, which is lining up with my mouth and my throat and my energy and my mind and my unconscious and my conscious and my masculine and my feminine, when all of it is in alignment, I am that powerful. Can you feel that? That's medicine woman. That's sorcerer. That's wizard. Unity consciousness. Hell yeah, Debbie, right? There's many words for this, and you can look at this in many traditions. You can look at it in like old Greek traditions. You can look at it in the alchemist tradition. You can look at it in the goddess tradition. Many traditions. You can look at it in the sacred union tradition, right? But it is this not being in conflict with parts of self. So what does that mean? Well, one, we have to get more conscious. So now there's all this talk about becoming conscious, right? Doing deep shadow work, going into the unconscious to make it conscious, bring it to the light, right? Like when my heart is wanting something and my womb, so I'll just talk very feminine, and this is like very tangible for me, right? My heart is wanting something, Let's go with little heart. So I also talk about little heart and big heart. So sacred heart and my little heart. Like my little heart, which can be a people pleaser. My little heart can have little love attachments, right? It can like, I want to belong, I want my family to be happy, right? I'm just talking about myself, and you can feel into this for you. When my little heart is not on board with what my womb, like my wise woman womb wisdom is saying, when my little heart is not on board, oh boy, it's like inner child. So maybe little heart can relate to inner child for some of you. I know a lot of our community does a lot of inner child work. So inner child work can be linked to little heart. I just call it differently. It's how it feels in myself. But inner child, when the inner child is like, no, right? We all know the enormous tantrum that our inner child can throw, right? When deep medicine man or medicine woman wisdom is arising. That deep wisdom is arising, and it's arising from the depths, right? It's like shamanic wisdom, and it is arising from the depths, and it says, go put your hands on that person, right? Or it says something like, it's moving you to service. It's moving you. Move house. You need desert. Whatever it's saying, right? And then like little inner child is like, throws its little tantrum. Sorry, there's messages popping onto my phone at the moment, which I can't stop. So just before this live, we'll take a quick interlude. Let's call this a commercial break. It's not going to be a commercial for anything, but just a moment to like let everything just settle for a second. The messages keep coming on my phone because there was an enormous fire right outside my house 20 minutes before we came on live today. So 20 minutes before this recording, there's an enormous, and for me, fire really represents dark goddess energy, and the messages just keep popping up. It's my neighbor saying like, the fire is out, we don't have to evacuate, but we had to evacuate. Like I packed up some stuff to evacuate. We're in the dry mountains of Colorado. Like it's high fire danger up here at the moment. Like everything's really, really dry. So, sorry for the little interlude, but to me, that was also just like the dark goddess appearing at my doorstep via a car fire. I mean, the timing of that is, yeah, I don't believe in synchronicities at all. Okay, so, feeling into, let me think, where can we go with this? Here's a question. How much work have you done on coming into alignment? On bringing the different parts of yourself into alignment? Like if we're gonna live in this physical world, I don't wanna talk about like spiritual, I'm really great at going off into the ethers and then just doing nothingness. I wanna talk about like that is very powerful, and I am not at all diminishing that, but I'm talking now a little bit more about, since this is the witch path, since this is the dark goddess path, I'm talking a little bit more about the sacred feminine path, which is soul, which is embodied divinity, embodied. I embody my spirit. I embody my spirit. I am soul, and I am expressing soul. I am expressing divinity out into the world. And so here's a question. How much work have you done in your body, in the different energetic centers? How much work have you done in these realms of bringing different parts of self into alignment? I like to call it divinizing. Divinizing the whole of one's being. The whole of one's being. If we're gonna dance this dance and we're gonna say that we're witches, we're gonna say that we're priestesses, we're gonna say that we're whatever the other terms that we wanna use, sorcerers, shamans, medicine men, medicine women, wizards, if we're going to say that, what we are legitimately saying in my terms, right? Because everything that we work with is like high level divinity. It is that I am bringing divine through me and into the world, right? That's what fuels witchy gifts. That's what fuels priestess gifts. That's what fuels it. What is your capacity to bring grace through your being and into the world? What is it? What is it? Even if it's not words that you're bringing into the world? What if it's just raw energy? So this is where I start with priestess training. Like any trainings that I do, because the brain gets in the way, you know, like we start to get all ego involved, but just pure energetically. Pure energetically. If you are going to bring grace through your body, just try it in this moment. Here's practice number, I don't know what we're on, but try this embodiment practice. Just bring grace in. You might call grace up, you might call grace down, you might just awaken grace from within yourself, but like grace, like high level, unconditional love, grace, Shakti, whatever it is, like divine goodness, that juice. If you're gonna bring it through your body and just emanate it. This is when they talk about sacred feminine radiance. This is the radiance. This is what they're talking about. Like this is the level of beauty they're talking about. Like not, oh, you know, low level human pretty, just same thing with love. It's not, oh, low level human love. It's high love. It's high radiance. I've just become a beacon for grace and love and light. So, all right, there's one more very important aspect I want to talk about. So we've talked about step one, which is bringing everything into alignment, right? Doing that work to bring everything into alignment, so that we don't have parts in conflict, parts fighting. I almost want to do an example of, like, you can reflect on this. So this is like a takeaway practice to do, is to maybe think about where you have felt others in conflict. You have felt yourself in conflict. This is so good. Hindsight's 20/20. Think about where you have been in conflict. Maybe your spirit has been in conflict with what you think you should be doing, right? Maybe your spirit is in conflict with loyalty. Like, I need to be loyal to my partner or to my family, but that's in conflict with your spirit. This is a great practice. If it's hard to see examples in yourself, it's always easier to see outside of ourselves, right? It's always easier to witness outside of ourselves than to have to own it and go like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then think about times when, I know I can think about times when I was so fully aligned, when it was mind, heart, soul, womb, body, bones, blood, emotions, everything was so fully aligned. Whoosh, like what happened in the world around that, how things unfolded, what got called in, what came, when it was just boom, all of me is in alignment, like so reflect on that too. Those are some great kind of follow-up practices if you feel. Just an offering, just an invitation on how to deepen this. Okay, so that's all step one, is this coming into alignment. We're gonna go for step two. I didn't know we were gonna go for step two, but we're gonna go for step two because we started talking about this. By the way, we're doing a lot of this work in the challenge that's happening Halloween weekend. So if you're listening to this before Halloween weekend, we are doing a 3-day totally free challenge working with all of this, right? So if you're like, wow, these are great embodiment practices, but I want more, Sabrina. Wow, I have started or I've done a ton, but I want to do more. I know where there's like little pieces of me that are maybe out of alignment, or I want to bring more of the unconscious conscious, or I want to be able to stand more in my power. I want to be able to do some of this. I want to understand medicine woman territory, dark goddess territory, these hidden aspects of the feminine. 3 days of that. So 3 big 1-hour workshops. They're proper workshops. It's not like this, even though this is embodied and experiential. They're proper workshops. These are proper rewilding workshops. We're doing it for Rewilding's birthday. It's Rewilding for Women's 6th birthday this month, October 2021. So that's our gift to our community, you know, like in in grade school when it's like the birthday kid's birthday and they have to bring the cake. I never really understood that. Anyways, that's what we're doing. We're like the birthday kid and we're bringing the cake. And we'd love for you all to have a piece of cake. It's totally open to anyone who primarily identifies as woman. So invite your girlfriends, invite your aunts, your sisters, your moms maybe. I was just thinking about inviting my mom. She doesn't have Wi-Fi. She's an old school farmer. Okay, so challenge link will be below this video, or if you're on YouTube, we'll have a link up here. If you're on the live, maybe one of the team, Malia or Leo, can leave a link to get to the challenge if you're not signed up for it. We start Friday, we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You've got a couple days to catch the replays. They're not live, it's all pre-recorded, but you'll get in, Leona, I invited my mom. Yes, I love that. Here's the link again. Malia just left it with a bunch of fire signs. So if you see the fire emojis under Malia, that's where the link is at. Okay, let's dive into this second piece. I'm just feeling if we're gonna get to some of this in the challenge over the weekend, the second piece. I don't know, but we're gonna talk about it here. So I've just dove into the challenge energy, which I'm crazy excited for. But this second piece is things come into alignment, right? Things come into alignment in ourselves. So we have access to so much more power. And remember, I talked about dark goddess, medicine woman territory, and how much power is in the unconscious. More power in the unconscious than in the conscious. More power in the depths than not the depths. If you feel into, this is gonna suck. For those of you who love the goddess Juno, I always pick on Juno. I love picking on Juno. But if you feel into the goddess Juno, who is not a dark goddess, she is a lover. She is goddess of marriage, goddess of partnership. She is Jupiter's consort, right? So very in the light realm, but brings her own magic. I'm not totally, bashing Juno. I love Juno, she's beautiful. But if you feel into how much juice Juno has versus Medusa, versus the amount of juice that Medusa has, right? It is like, it's like you can't compare the two. It's incomprehensible. Because, right, there is just a vast, it's like when you do sexual work, like we just did online sexual healing, we did sexual awakening and healing retreat, we did sacred sexuality. So we've been very much in this territory. Where do we work? We work with Medusa. We work with, who else do we work? Persephone, right? Because there is so much juice. And think about this for yourself sexually. Let's just talk about it sexually super quick. Promise I'll get to this point number 2. But think about it for yourself sexually. How much does the dark turn you on? Okay, dark can be anything. It can be anything. This is tough because our brains do the defense and like the pretend like something else is not the truth. But let me just feel for another doorway because I just screwed that one up. Let's talk about it this way. There's like the old joke of the bad boy is so hot. And maybe that's not true for you. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be true for you, but kind of talking in broad terms. Oh man, it takes me so long to get us into this territory, to get us like owning how much juice is in the hidden, how much juice is in the taboo, how much juice. And it's partially because we've stuffed it down for so long. It's also because the collective has stuffed it. There's so much power there. There's so much juice there. All right. I'm going to leave that. So I'm going to leave that because I think that will take me another hour to get us into that. There's other stuff. So Leo, maybe in the YouTube video, you can put a link up to, and wherever, maybe in the description of the podcast below too, if you're listening there later, or maybe on the feed for the live here in our Facebook group, you can put a link to diving into some of this territory. I've done tons of stuff on this and how much juice is held in this territory. It doesn't just have to be around sexuality. I put up a post on Instagram. By the way, if you're not hanging out with me on Instagram, maybe you should, because it's kind of fun. Just look for Sabrina Lynn _rewilding. That's me. But I put a post up on Instagram yesterday, and it was inspired by Andrew Harvey's interview. By the way, this podcast is the Andrew Harvey follow-up. So definitely we spoke about the dark goddess in there. We talked about the dark mother in there. That's another place that you can dive deeper into things. Maybe a link up here and down below and in our live stream. I know I'm blah, 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 blahing, and you want me to get to point number 2. And I'm coming. Let me just feel if we want to just dive into that. This was the question. I'll share the question first and then we'll dive into point number 2, I promise. The question was something along the lines, and feel into this. This is a great reflective question. It's a great reflective question. So just like open your heart, open your being and go, of all the things in the world that are injustices, of all the wrongs in the world right now, and we all know how wild of a time this is, and of all the things that hurt, what is it that hurts most? What is it that hurts you uniquely the most? Bree, I know you just left a comment here. I know you shared some beautiful things in the Instagram comments and also in I think in our Facebook group too, or maybe somewhere else. I know that I've seen you and feel that. So just, that's something where sometimes our soul longings, our soul callings, our soul purpose, that's a tough one because there's so much shit around it, but our soul, like what fills us, like what we are innately here for. And think about this from the medicine woman, from the witch, like what it is that you are here to do, the magic that you are here to wield, the service that you are here to give, what is it? And sometimes it's in the heartbreak. Like, what is it that breaks your heart the most? What is it that breaks your heart the most? For me, I'll just share, like for me, what breaks my heart is the feminine, is the unknown feminine, is the unknown, is the degradation of the feminine, like the sacred feminine. Rewilding for Women was founded out of my heartbreak. It was founded out of my heartbreak. If I didn't go into the dark, into the hidden, into the unconscious, if I didn't go in there, I would have never birthed Rewilding for Women, right? And now look at Instagram, there's like 170,000 followers on Instagram. We've done workshops and retreats all over the world for 6 years. Like I've worked with thousands of women. We've done many, many, many online programs. Birth out of the dark. And how much juice is there? How much juice is there? You can ask the team. Malia, Leo, maybe you guys can leave a comment here on the live or even on YouTube for those who are watching later. They're on the team and they know, like it is just like watching, like how the fuck do you have that much energy? Like how the fuck do you keep creating so much? Like Jesus. And it's because I've tapped in. I've tapped into that. I've tapped into all of that. So just feel that for yourself. Imagine it's this unlimited amount of vitality, of love, of juice, of energy. It's just this free flowing, but we have to open the trapdoor to it. We have to get really real. The next thing that really broke my heart, fucking broke me, breaks me to this day, makes me cry every time I feel into it. Every time I feel into it is the state of sexuality. Breaks me. The state of where we are with the feminine and our relationship to the feminine and the state of sexuality fucking breaks me. Breaks me. It breaks my heart. It hurts. It hurts. But when I can open the door to that, right, it's so much energy, so much juice. And, right, Sacred Sexuality online program just came out around that. We just did Sexual Healing and Awakening around that. We donate thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to charities that work hard to fight sex trafficking, right? Child trafficking, all of these atrocities. So just imagine, right? If we can open the door to the heartache, the hurt, the pain, also to our power, our juice, our magic, our love, and we can get the fuck out of the way, like, who am I? Think about this. This is true for me. Who am I? Who am I? I remember when Rewilding for Women first came in out of the heartbreak. Like, it was like this thing coming in from outside of me going, birth this Rewilding for Women. And I went, who am I? Who am I to even hold that name? Who am I to even post a post on Facebook under the name of Rewilding for Women? Who am I to even do a workshop? Get out of the way. That's Dark Goddess. That's Dark Goddess, right? She'll get you out of the way. She's an ego slayer, ego destroyer, and that's all just egoical stuff. It's all just egoical stuff. right? So the vast, and that's what I want you to have access to, right? I want everyone on this planet. Imagine if we all had access to that vast amount of power, potency, juice, truth, right? And it all, because we've done, right? We've done all the work to become aligned. We've divinized. Remember that talk about divinizing it, right? So it comes through with just love. It just comes through with love. We just do it because this is just how God dances me in the world. This is just how the divine dances me. The divine dances me in this way. The divine will dance you or does dance you the way that you dance. I can't dance your dance. I can't dance anyone else's dance other than mine, right? But let's at least get on the fucking dance floor, turn the music on, and let's start to at least do some sort of like a shimmy, right? A little shimmy, just a little something. Okay, so let me give you step 2. I know, we have like 3 minutes left. I've been talking a lot. So step number 2 is, Tiggs, by the way, I love you. I need to get the fuck out of my way. This second step that happens after X amount, this just happens. It's organically what happens. It's naturally what happens. You walk this path long enough. After enough comes into alignment, right? Enough comes into alignment. You're kind of juiced up enough. You're tapped in enough. Enough comes into alignment. What starts to happen, it's like the veils, and some of you I know can relate because I know some of you are I know that some of you have worked beyond this point, but it's like the veils come off. So it's like the world has always operated this way, but you just start to actually see it. You start to become conscious of the way that everything is so insanely interconnected. I talk about this a lot in the weaving of a tapestry, like the threads of a tapestry weave together, right? That tree is a thread. The earth beneath me is a thread. My dog in the corner making funny little snorty, sleepy snore noises is a thread. I am a thread. Every single person in this circle is a thread. And you start to know that okay, let me not like blow our minds too much and let me not get too mystically high and too mystical truths in this. Let me just kind of keep our feet on the ground a little bit, just from this one. I know, boo. But you really start to connect in to the infinite all of everything. You really start to connect into the infinite all of everything. Now, being plugged in, you're always plugged in, but now you're conscious of it. You're conscious of it. This takes your power to the next level. This takes your gifts to the next level. This takes how you manifest and create in the world to the next level. Can you kind of feel that? And it's not that it wasn't there, it's always been there, just like all of that juice has always been there. You just need to open the trap door and let it come in. It's the same thing. It's not like we're not always plugged in or interconnected. The veils drop, we become conscious of it, and now we work from that place. Now we cast spells, we priestess, we shaman, we medicine man, medicine woman, we do whatever it is that we're called to do, dancing our dance on the dance floor from this place, from this place, from this place. Now, and by this time, so much of our own little egoical will has gotten out of the way. So it's not about the house or the car or the job. It's just about what's true, right? It's just about what's true. And now I am being danced. I am being danced. I am being danced. I am dancing the dance. I am dancing my thread in the web or in the tapestry that is the all of everything. That is so fucking fulfilling. all of those things, like I'm depressed, life is not purposeful, there isn't enough love, I don't feel love, all of that disappears. All of it, because you are all of it. You are all of it. We stop seeing ourselves as separate to or other than. We are the whole of it. Dance in our dance, dance in our dance, dance in our dance, the perfection, right? Everything is always insanely perfect. Everything. Everything. Like that is liberation. When they talk about enlightenment being liberation, that is liberation. That's liberation. That's it. That's it. That's it. All right, so just that. We're just gonna do that together over however long that we're together hanging out for. No, but if you ever wonder, Sabrina, what's the point of all these videos that you do? What is the point of all these programs you do, all these workshops, all of this stuff? It's that. It's that. It's that. And all the things that we are called to do, asked to do, work through, open up to, clear out, let go of, reclaim, open to get to that place. Right? That's the path. That's it. Oh my gosh, I've loved this. I hope you all join the challenge. It's only going to be open during Halloween weekend. We're gonna shut it down probably 48 hours after that Sunday, so you can definitely watch the replays, but know that this will come down. It's a limited time because we're celebrating our birthday, but it's gonna be a big party and we're gonna do a lot of this work. So a lot of this work, like the big mama work. So they talk about the left-hand path. Maybe some of you have heard of it, the left-hand path. It's the quick rapid fire path. That's the dark goddess, right? That's sacred sexuality. For whatever reason, my little Sabrina soul just loves it. Let's do it. Let's do it quick. Let's do it wild. Let's do it big. I don't want to wait lifetimes to do this. I don't want you to have to wait lifetimes to do this. So it's like I've always been the person who's ripped the Band-Aid off versus like the little pick and the little tiny peel. Not that I don't appreciate that and totally honor it, but this is just me dancing my dance. All right, I love you all. I hope to see you on the challenge. This has been great. Those of you who are live, amazing. I love all of your comments and the juice that you brought. It is such a beautiful co-creation to do this together. Those of you watching later, join the Facebook group, Sabrina Lynn Rewilding. Hang out with me on Instagram, Sabrina Lynn Rewilding, and join the challenge, rewildingforwomen.com or sabrinalynn.com. You can sign up at both places. All right, I love you all so much. Mwah!